Hello and welcome to 4 Wales See Wales with me, Mel Owen.
Me, Robin Morgan.
And me, Will Hayward.
How are you both, gents?
Fine. What? I feel I'm
Trap.
it is a trap.
Did that sound like I was leading to something?
How are you, gents? Because we have these printouts of tweets that you sent in 2012, Robin. Like, oh no.
I know, well, very relevant to me first, the political landscape at the moment.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
It feels like a weird time in Welsh politics. It feels like the almost time. Like, you know, we had a lot of election fever. No. And now it's like, oh, we're just politicking again, right?
It's a weird time, isn't it? Where it's not sort of like back to school. It's now like the hard work must begin. Like, but are you doing the hard work?
Yeah, we're on page 8 of the textbook. It's like, oh, we're in it now.
It's like when you had exams and you knew you had exams coming up.
Yeah.
Or like a deadline for an essay and you're like, but it's ages away. So I can just kind of like fob it off for a little bit.
Yeah. That weird in-betweeny stage, you know?
Are the Welsh Government fobbing it off, Will? What's going on?
Do you know what's weird about right now? It's the first time since devolution that we've had a government which isn't answerable to the actions of the last government. It's the first time it's changed.
Explain that to me. What do you mean?
In 2021, Labour win. They get in. They form the Welsh Government again. And you can go to them and say, waiting lists are really bad still. What are you doing about it? Like, this is what you've presided over. Whereas now we have a party where ultimately they weren't running the Welsh Government before. And we've never had that. Welsh politics has always had an election and then just continued on as it is, whereas now it's changed.
They can blame it on the other gang.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Clyde haven't been in long enough to really be able to say, this is good, this is bad, doing this well, you're doing this not as well, for want of a better phrase. Yeah. There is a point where that kind of happens, and it's where you draw the line of, okay, you're accountable for this now.
Yeah, so when does that start? For you as a journalist, when does it feel reasonable to go, come on, we're in?
Like a probation period, like in work.
Yeah, where we can just get rid of them without court within the first 3 months.
Imagine if you could do that with government.
If in the first 3 months we don't have to give a reason, they just haven't passed.
Yeah, it's just not working for you or for us.
I think when you say like when do we draw the line? I think you can question their decisions from like day one, like, and you can say, well, you're doing this, show your workings. How are you going to do that? Explain. Like, if waiting lists go up or down, like this month, that isn't really on Plaid or not, because firstly, the date is a bit delayed anyway, and it's not necessarily because of something they've done. But I think what you can do at this point is you can get them to commit to stuff. You can get them to commit to targets. You can get them to deadlines, timeframes, when things will get better, when they will announce their targets, that sort of stuff. So you can do that now. But I think for me, it's at the end of that first 100 days because that's what they laid out as their plan.
Yeah, sure.
They gave themselves a little road. What did they call it? The 100-day plan?
The 100-day plan.
It sounds quite biblical. Do you know what I mean? The 100-day plan. Or the 100-year war and all of that, you know?
100-year war.
There was a 100-year war, was there?
Yeah.
There was, wasn't there?
Yeah.
But do you know how long it actually was?
How long?
166 years. Go on.
They rounded down.
Yeah.
You round up, right?
Surely.
Yeah, if it's over 150, you just go up to 200.
Yeah.
You know what there has nearly been 100 of?
Go on.
This podcast. I think this is like episode 94, Daryl? 94.
94!
Isn't that mad?
So when we say 100, it's actually going to be 166.
Yeah. We'll
Welcome
celebrate
to podcast 166.
Yeah. I cue all the people in the comments be like, actually, Mel, I just want to say my source was my pub quiz at Pontcanner Inn.
Oh, really?
So if it's incorrect, go for Tom at Pontcanner Inn. Sorry, Will, continue. Applied 100-day plan.
Well, that happens mid-August.
Right.
So I think by that point, we can kind of look at directions of travel. I've already seen a few things applied which I think are quite concerning. We're going to come to them in the coming weeks because I want to stand some stuff up first.
August is quite a tricky time to sort of hit that 100-day plan because no one's really sort of focusing.
Yeah, you're going to announce in September anyway, aren't you?
Yeah, no one's
on holidays.
Yeah, they're not there.
Yeah. Where do you think a Plaid Cymru politician goes on holiday compared to a Welsh Labour? Compared to a Reform, compared to a...
Well, it depends where in Wales they're from, right?
Okay.
So if they're a GOG who has come to Cardiff to gentrify Grangetown, as a lot of them do, then I think they're going Llŷn Peninsula. I think they're going Aberdaron. Mm-hmm. You know, I think if they've stayed in North Wales, I think they're going Pembrokeshire.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Especially with Steady G this year it's the Carreg Glas Steddfod, isn't it?
Yeah, I think,
Sorry, you're going to have to explain what you just said.
Oh, sorry. It's Steddfod. Steddfod's Genedlaethol. The Huns, the millennial Huns, we shorten it to Steady G.
Okay.
Yeah, Steady is in Steddfod.
To make it more inaccessible for people like you.
What happened just now was gatekeeping.
Yeah.
I've never been on this side of the gate. Horrible.
Not nice at all. What a horrible,
Being a minority, isn't it?
what a horrible gate.
Yeah, sorry. But the Eisteddfod being in Pembrokeshire, it's the Carreg Glas Eisteddfod this year. So that's where they go on holiday. Have you ever been Steady G?
I haven't been to Steady G.
Steady G?
Steady G.
Well, you made it sound was like a rapper's name. Like, yeah.
That would be your rapper name. I
That
think.
would be your rapper name, Steady G.
I'm even more of a fraud.
I think that'd be
I'm not a
Keir Starmer's
rapper and I'm not a Welsh speaker.
Steady G. Steady G.
You a Steady G guy?
I've never been.
Yeah.
Shamefully. I've been asked to do stand up at the last two.
Yeah.
In the Welsh Learners tent.
yes.
I haven't been able to due to various things, but I've already blocked out next year's dates in the diary, and I'm hoping they're going to ask me again, and that'll be my first Welsh language gig.
That would be great. It's a lovely atmosphere
really
for
excited
it
for it.
as well. Yeah. As a Welsh learner, I've been to those gigs. Wonderful. As a non-Welsh learner, the gigs are very much you cock blocking them until they get to Tudur Owen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, who I love Tudur with all my
Is
heart.
he sort of Hollywood value?
Yeah, the hardest gig I've ever done was Wrexham Steady G, where people really looked at me like, please leave.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, where is Tudur?
Yeah.
You're Owen. We thought we were getting the other Owen.
He is a funny man.
He's so good. National treasure.
Handsome man as well. Happy to say that.
Yeah, he is. There's an aura, you know? But that's where they go on holiday. They all
Sure.
go to Eisteddfod.
I think they would, they're going to hit coastal areas
Yeah.
of where they're not...
They're not from.
Yeah, not habitating in like they're beavers. I think reform. I think most of them will go to their homes in Bath. I think...
Please, Robin, do not weaponise their property portfolios against them. I'm sick of
I
this.
keep weaponising his property portfolio against him, and it's shame on me.
Great. When you go to Bath and you go to the toilet and nobody tells you whether the dryer is loud or if it's quiet.
There's
Yeah,
no
sure.
labels on
There's no
there.
fucking point. And I just look at it and I think, God, that has saved the taxpayer 76p.
I know. It's shameful. Shameful.
Talking of aura, I sat down and interviewed Labour's interim leader, Ken Skates.
Ken Skates.
What is his aura? Tell
What
me.
is Ken Skates?
What is a Ken skate?
I don't know.
Oh,
And I don't know what Welsh Labour's aura is or is going to be. But I tried to find out. Should we dig into it?
Yeah.
Can I hit you with some data?
Ooh, please.
We're going to go into this. Steady G.
I love this.
this is superb.
Yeah. Okay, data. Go on.
Going to give some data. Now, we're going to go into this data a bit more. See, when I say data, I actually think of Commander Data from Star Trek Next Generation.
Don't know what that is.
Okay. So,
The pleading look in your eyes as you went from Mel and you went no and then to me.
I didn't even bother looking at that. I thought she's not going to know this reference. I
Maybe
was
Robin's
like,
a virgin. Oh, okay.
I watched my first Star Wars a couple of weeks ago.
Which one?
There's one where the little boy is in a race in a go-kart.
Episode 1.
A New Hope.
Anakin.
No, not A New Hope.
No.
Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace.
Sorry.
Having a boyfriend is embarrassing. Go on.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I do.
Did you like Jar Jar Binks?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The best character.
And that one's quite shit.
Really?
That one scene is like the worst one, I think.
I
Sort of killed the fandom.
No,
when it all
it's
came
the
out.
worst one outside of it within the 6.
You're listening to 4 Wales, See Wales.
With Jar Jar Binks.
You're listening.
Steady G.
You're listening to 4 Wales, See Tatooine
Nice.
reference.
Yes.
Yeah, lovely. Ken Skates.
I'm going to hit you with some data. Now, we're going to go into this data a bit more next week, but we're going to focus on some of the Labour stuff. So this comes from, say this a lot, Wales Governance Centre, Jack Larner. They interviewed people immediately before they voted, immediately after they voted, asked them loads of questions, 3,500 people, big piece of field work. It also brings in some other data that they've got as well. I'm going to talk to you about the percentage of the electorate that Labour got in 2021 compared to 2026. So between the last two Senedd elections. So in 2021, 40% of women who voted for Labour. 40%.
Wow.
Big. Only 32% of men.
That's really substantial.
Yeah, women were buying what Drakeford was selling, Wensleydale.
Yes.
In 2026, that dropped to 12% of women voted for Labour and 11% of men.
Wow.
Okay, do you want some more? So In 2020,
So my jaw is on the floor. That's huge.
What a drop at the point where there is a female leader. I know people aren't voting across gender lines, but that's interesting.
You'd have thought there'd be more influence on that basis. But yes, you're right. That is correct.
But
Yeah.
I sometimes think that, like when this whole thing of like women aren't funny in comedy,
Yeah.
I hear that more from women than I do from men.
Oh yeah, with me leafleting on the streets of Edinburgh.
Yeah.
This is horrible, and please know that I wish this weren't the case.
Yeah.
If I see a couple, I go for the man, not the woman. Yeah, because the woman will say no.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after
Really?
the show, she's like, "I really enjoyed that. Actually, I thought it was going to be awful."
riddle me surprised that I
Yeah.
enjoyed this.
Yeah, but
It's
that's
interesting,
really,
isn't it? But what a drop off, 28%.
Well, hold on.
Go on.
We haven't got to the 18 to 34 category yet. In 2021, 44%. 44%.
Of women voted Labour.
No, of
18 to 34.
Oh, right. Okay,
34-year-olds.
we're off gender now.
Yeah, we're off gender. 44%.
And like those trees in Rwanda, am I right?
Nice.
Do you want to? They're any gender. Do you want to guess what it went down to from 44%? Spoiler alert, it did go down.
And what was the year again?
So 2021, the Drakeford post-COVID election,
Yeah.
44% of young people, basically,
Well,
18 to 44.
we know that
34.
Ply did so well with young people. So I'm going to say it went down to, let's say, 14%.
Ooh, okay, I'm gonna go 28.
7.
Sorry.
7.
What?
Only 7% of people aged between 18 and 34 who voted Labour. 7%. It's their low. They are now doing. They were doing best in younger people. Their lowest demographic was young people.
But Elena Morgan did a rave.
She did. She did.
All of those
It turns up you
photos.
can't just go rah rah Rasputin and then we're going to vote for you. I made Robin laugh. Yes.
What? Who is Rasputin?
Russia's greatest love machine.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it's a big old drop off.
A very slightly relevant but a little bit of a tangent. Keir Starmer / Number 10's TikTok at the moment makes me feel physically ill.
Oh, I haven't really
I
watched
haven't
it.
watched it. What's it?
I feel sick in my mouth, genuinely. They're so bad. And it's so like trying to make Daddy Starmer. That's what they're trying to do so hard. And it's so... They're trying to give him like daddy aura.
Is it like that? What was the
Can I
Labour?
just say, what is Daddy Aura?
It's like he's just in control. He's calm. He's... You know,
I just think out of all the questions you've asked in your award-winning journalistic career, I think, sorry, what is Daddy Aura is possibly my favourite one you've ever asked.
what is Daddy Aura? I was like, I thought you'd never ask me again. Yeah, they're just trying to slow-mo him, and it's this, and they're trying to make it on trend, but also like he's suave, like he's Hugh Grant.
Interesting.
And no.
That's a shame. Who was the Labour candidate in the Caerphilly by-election? Who was
Tunnicliffe.
Richard Tunnicliffe.
I'm your daddy.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
similar sort of energy to that.
Yeah, it is.
Because I know that like post the Iran bombings, people were saying, "Oh, could this be Keir Starmer's sort of Hugh Grant Love Actually moment?" And I wonder whether the sort of like a TikTok team has gone, "Let's lean into this then.
Yeah,
Let's get him."
Yeah.
Marty McCutcheon.
Yeah.
Because also wasn't Bridget Jones all of that? He was one of the characters.
Colin Firth's character was based on him, a young him.
And this is what they're really trying to do.
Sorry, Colin Firth's character was based on...
Keir Starmer.
Keir Starmer.
Oh, no, I see you're joking.
No.
Genuinely.
Genuinely, as like a young lawyer.
She based Colin Firth's character on Keir Starmer from university.
Actual Keir Starmer.
Really?
Yeah.
They're trying to create that for him. And I think the problem is it doesn't undo the bombings in Iran.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
a little slow-mo TikTok of him coming through a door doesn't undo the fact that people can't afford to put their heating on.
Yeah, and do you think, as our resident young person on the podcast,
Thank you.
you're very welcome. Do you think that sort of like TikTok?
What is TikTok?
Sure, who is TikTok? But I've seen Darren Jones, great look on a man. Darren Jones, curly hair, glasses.
He's so grateful.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen his TikToks a few, and his a bit mad. He's like, "I'm up here on a balcony. I'm on a bridge." It's all a bit. He's always in high
I've got
places.
a personality.
Yeah, it's all a bit mad.
I think it feels very inauthentic. There are some who do it well. There are many, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but there are many who don't. And this is the problem because also you're not going to have a 16-year-old in your office being your official TikTok consultant That's what you need. If you're going to do it, that is kind of what you need. I'm too old.
Yeah.
I would be too old to do that. When like Gen Zers speak to me in TikTok references, I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
What are you saying? I don't know if the Prime Minister needs TikTok. I'm going to say it. I don't. I don't think that's how you're getting the young vote.
Do you know what you could do on TikTok? You could explain how you've improved people's lives.
Yeah. I don't know if that's how they're getting the young vote. And if their young vote is dropped off there.
To 7%.
To 7%.
Do you want to hear another one of these things that I think is really interesting? So
yeah.
They ask people to define themselves as whether you see yourself as more British, more Welsh, or both equally.
What a Lib Dem answer that would be. Exactly 50%. Exactly 50%.
I have a feeling.
So in 2021, 41% of people who felt more Welsh voted Labour. Okay. 31% of people who felt more British voted Labour. So 10 percentage point difference. So their highest one was among the people who felt most Welsh.
Yeah.
In 2026, the more Welsh, people who felt more Welsh dropped from 41% to 10%. Ooh. Whereas the people who felt more British dropped from 31% to 12%. So basically everything which was their highest, so young people and people who feel more Welsh, went from their highest to their lowest. Now, part of that is because also young people identify as most Welsh. So they're kind of tied in together. But with that backdrop of, holy shit, we have lost the people who actually liked us, and the people who weren't that inclined to like us dislike us even more. That's how I approached Ken Skates. So let's talk it through. One thing I will say for Ken Skates, good smile.
Yeah.
Good outfit for
got some pearly whites.
He has. He's got
and a tan. Big tan.
Do you think he uses the beds, or has he been away?
I think he's been away.
Ooh, where's he been?
Dad on or abroad?
He's been abroad.
Ooh. Do you think so?
I know so, he told me.
Yeah, good teeth. I feel like good jawline. I gave Reen a lot of praise for his jawline.
Are they gonna duel with the
yeah,
jaws?
I think they're sort of like...
It's better to jaw than to war. No, we're doing both.
Like giraffes hit each other with their heads, and then they're just gonna chin it off.
Something to be said for First Minister's questions. You know?
Yeah, I'd watch it. You know, other than that, what did Ken Skates have to tell you?
So the big focus is now on rebuilding Labour. We're rebuilding. We've got to rebuild. We're rebuilding. The annoying thing about the phrase rebuilding is it can actually mean just fuck all. It can just be a completely meaningless phrase. But I do think if you are rebuilding, if we're going to use that analogy, it is an implication that the materials and foundations that you had are no longer functional, that things are broken, so you have to rebuild them. But if your house is broken and you're going to rebuild it, you firstly need to understand why it fell down in the first place. And my scepticism about Welsh Labour has been whether they're willing to have those kind of awkward conversations. Now, they've only got 9 MSs now, which means, in a way, puts Ken Skates in a tougher position because, weirdly, it's easier to manage 30 MSs than it is to manage 9. And the reason for that is, if one person gets annoyed when you've got 30 people, you're like, it's like 3% of people.
Yeah, I've got a bigger fish to fry, mate.
Yeah. Mike Hedges is shouting, you got what you wanted. It doesn't matter. Now, Mike Hedges, for example, makes up 11% of all their MSs. So, if 3 people are annoyed, that's a third of your members.
Yeah.
So that is a group of cats that you've got to manoeuvre. But you've got to bring people together, a group which is already really divided, but you've also got to say what went wrong. And the hard thing is, Mr. Skates is intrinsically linked to the leadership that went before. So he's been a minister for a very long time. He had a little period out, but he was a minister for a long time. He ran Vaughan Gethin's campaign. Or co-ran Vaughan Gethin's campaign. He is the picked man of UK Labour. Like, UK Labour want him.
Interesting.
And there's been discussions about, like, when do we bring in a new leader? I strongly suspect that there won't be a leadership election because no one will put themselves forward. Mr. Skates, to be fair to him, says he absolutely welcomes a contest. Like, he isn't, like, saying, no one, we need to come together and you need to not challenge me. But no one is challenging him. And there was a vote recently to decide whether they decide it this year or they delay it until January. The unions and people on the left of the party wanted to delay it till January. So they wanted to be able to basically say, we need a proper, 6-7 month think about what the hell just happened and why. That was outvoted very, very narrowly, as I understand it, from people familiar with the process. And that is, they're going to have a leader announced this year. I would be amazed if it wasn't Ken Skates.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's strange that if there was anybody going for it now, they would be doing manoeuvres, wouldn't they? They'd be getting out and
Yeah. So got people like Mick Anthony on the left of the party, Mark Drakeford, who have basically said we need to federalise. By federalise, that means we need to divide UK and Welsh Labour. We need to have it so that, because at the moment, like Welsh Labour staff are paid for by UK Labour, but they're a branch for all intents and purposes, whereas there is arguments within it to create a much more defined line between the two. So I asked him, if you're rebuilding, that implies that what was there before is broken. Do you need a fundamental rethink of the materials and foundations of Welsh Labour? And he said, this gives us an opportunity to do just that. I think you have to review it. You've really got to figure out what went wrong, why it went wrong, and how we got to this point. And so you have to review. Whether you undertake that full restructuring from the roots up is dependent on the factors that led to the defeat. Rebuilding also means making sure that people can get back into this place, he was in the Senedd, as soon as possible, and that we can put people in council chambers next year, and that we can secure a decent number of MPs in 3 or so years.
That's a good point, actually. They've got council elections to really throw themselves at. Mm-hmm. You know, and as we know, those councils they matter more than you think. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and that's why kind of the reform sweep of councils in England should not be taken lightly, you know. So that's a good point. I mean, do I think that they can rebuild by the council elections? That is hell of a rebuild. Bloody hell.
When are the council elections?
Council elections in May next year. Now,
Christ.
Yeah, come on. What builders do you know doing that?
Yeah.
So let's
turn up.
So if we think back to that data that we had from before, who left Labour? And
everybody.
Yeah, well, everyone. But the biggest drop was in people who had felt Welsh. And I said to him, some of the research has come out, suggested there's a perception that Welsh Labour didn't stand up for Wales enough. We know Eluned Morgan was apparently going after Keir Starmer all the time, wanting concessions. Let's face it, she barely got anything. I said, do you think that is a fair accusation? And do you think anything needs to change in how you behave or are perceived to behave as a party? And he said, I don't think that's fair, but I fully understand where it comes from. I can fully understand why standing up for Wales message works so much better if you're in opposition than if you're in power, especially when you've got the same party in power in Westminster. No matter what we do, we would never be as combative as any party in opposition because we will be striving, for the most part, to collaborate and cooperate. And we've got results of a consequence for that. It's easy for Plaid, for Tories and Reform, or whoever they are, to be incredibly disparaging of the UK Labour government rather than cooperate with them. When you're in opposition, you can do that. Now, I'd like to just push back and question that because I don't think that's true. So he's basically saying it's easy to criticise and make demands of the UK Labour government when you're in opposition, but it's harder to be perceived as standing up for Wales when you're in power. And I just think that isn't the case because the SNP is in power and demonstrably makes demands from the UK government all the time. Also, when you're in opposition, you can't really stand up for anyone.
You're not doing anything.
You've got no power.
You can call for things, but that's it, right?
Welsh Labour were in a unique position when they're in power. They're in a stronger position than Plaid are if they'd have wanted to use it. Because if you think about it, Rhys Purwith as First Minister saying, Keir Starmer, you are screwing Wales, give us this. Okay, great. But that's what you'd expect him to say. If Eluned Morgan had stood up and said, Keir Starmer, you are screwing Wales, give us this, how much more waves does that, if she had actually gone for it, how much more of a difference would that have made? It's not the fact that they couldn't stand up for Wales when they're in power, it's the fact that they just did it incredibly meekly.
Yeah, and chose not to.
Yeah, and I think from a Eluned Morgan point of view, I mean, the writing was on the wall in terms of what was happening there. And I think if she had gone in really, really big and gone, Starmer, in 3 years' time, you're going to think about it on a Westminster level, which is the only way he really cares about it. This is going to batter you in 3 years. Whereas if you give us some things now, then maybe you can keep these strongholds in Wales.
Yeah.
And obviously it didn't work.
I think Plaid would have to fumble the bag so hard to lose those voters now who feel more Welsh than British back to Labour, because I think, you know, we've discussed on the podcast before, you can feel Welsh and be pro union. You know, those you can be both. And Plaid have managed to make themselves a party that is not just about nationalism and independence. They've managed really successfully in this election to distance themselves from independence quite substantially. I think it would be Plaid's error to lose those voters back to Labour now.
So I said to him, putting aside independence, what do you think is the difference between Plaid and Labour?
Yeah.
Because actually, what is the difference? Like, take out of independents, they're both parties on the left. Like,
Yeah.
they'd agree on a lot of things. And he said, well, Plaid Cymru are not a cohesive party. So actually, when you look at some of the claims that they are a progressive party, that doesn't actually bear out when you examine it forensically. So, for example, whether it be on animal rights, whether it be on the environment, whether it be on energy, with their commitment to undergrounding rather than pylons, they're not exactly progressive. What they are is as many things to as many people as they can possibly be. So they are not exactly a purist party of progressives. They are a very broad church of different types of nationalists. Now,
I think there's credit to what you're saying there. If I'm being honest with you, I think there's a lot of truth in that.
And also, I think it's really, really good that for years there was no real credible opposition of people calling out the government, and now it feels like, see what Darren Miller and Dan Thomas can do as well. But it feels like at least there's going to be a decent level of opposition.
Yes.
who can hold the government to account now.
And the thing is, now Plaid have to do the thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like they've been able to get away with being all things to all people, because they haven't had to do the thing.
Yeah.
Now they do. Now they're in, and it is every party who comes into government is going to face challenges. And yeah, I'm not saying they make false promises in campaigns, but it's you overpromise and then realism kicks in right after the election. I think that is going to be a massive challenge for Plaid, because they have managed to be a bit loosey-goosey on their identity up until now.
yeah, I think parties, to win government, you often do have to be a broad church, and you have to try and keep that coalition of voters together. I am sceptical about Plaid's ability to deliver what they've promised. I'm also incredibly sceptical about this potential iteration of Labour being a credible challenger to them for a very long time. So I said to him, you're the favourite to be the next leader. In what way would you as a leader of Welsh Labour be different to anything that's gone before? So he then gave an incredibly long answer, which I'm not going to read out because we don't want this podcast to be an hour long. But basically he said, draw on his experiences from when he was a kid about redundancies and the kind of shame that can come with not having like the income that you want. Yeah. And so then I went back to him and said, so how would you be different? And then he said, in terms of what makes me different, I believe that health and wealth for all has to be the front and centre of the Welsh Labour movement. And that as part of everyone's desire to feel secure in the world, whether it be financially secure, whether it be insecure in terms of family or in terms of your house. That can only be achieved if you've got a decent income. You're never going to be able to strive for a better life if you're locked into welfare, into unemployment benefit, if you're locked into any form of state support. So you have to have an empowering, enabling government that really believes in human capital of every individual, that doesn't judge people. So if that didn't make any sense, basically he is going down the kind of more Starmery, Vaughan Gethin,
David Cameron-esque.
Yeah, like growth. We are focused on growth. I said to him, are you focused on business growth and the idea of well-paid jobs? And he was like, yes, that is what they're focusing on. And I'm not saying that we don't urgently need to improve the kind of economic outlook in Wales. That is absolutely true. But I think it's an interesting way to contrast Labour and Plaid. I just think that is kind of what Eluned Morgan was trying to do. And you've just been absolutely had the shit kicked out of you in an election. If your thing is going to be, I'm going to keep doing the thing we're doing, but do it harder, I just think they're missing the fundamental of, we are now in a identity world. Like, you've lost out massively with young people and people who feel Welsh. None of it felt like he'd really kind of tapped into that.
I think also Plaid did quite a good job in the run-up, with the Welsh Development Agency, and they're talking, and I know like a lot of their social stuff is talking about growth and jobs and things. It feels like for a party on the left, they are talking about that. And then when you look at on the right and the centre right, that's all the Tories and Reform are going to bang on about. In terms, so you're parking your tanks on everyone's lawn in the set, but you're not. Yeah. But the public still don't trust Labour on business and on growth. So it feels like a weird avenue to go. Oh, we're also in this, but to define yourself by that. I mean, I look. I
it's
think
early on, but
totally. But I think health and wealth, I think, as a message, really, really good. I think health is wealth in that respect. I think if you make people healthy and able to go to work, they can then earn some more money. But again, Welsh NHS, that's such a tricky thing to do.
The UK Tories, damage that they have done to Labour, like over multiple generations, in terms of you cannot trust Labour on business or anything financial, was so powerful. Yeah. And it's because also there's not much evidence to back that up.
No, it's just Gordon Brown being in charge at the same time as 2008, right?
And the Tories did an absolute blinder in terms, and that damage has seeped through so much.
I'll just very quickly finish with, I asked him who would you think would be the best person to be Prime Minister to help you with your aims as Welsh leader. And he said, I've got the same initials as Keir Starmer. I share the same football team as Andy Burnham. I'm close with both of them.
Oh, I don't care. Sorry, what?
He then said that he thinks that Keir Starmer has come in the most difficult circumstances. Bigs up Keir Starmer for a few paragraphs. And then he said, and I think this is what makes me really worried for the future of Welsh Labour. He said, moving forward, I think if we can maintain economic growth, then that frustration that people feel will gradually dissipate, and the division that we experience in society will gradually erode away. It's all about the economy and making sure that we can actually pay our way. I just think that is so... I mean, that is literally Lynyrd Morgan saying, if we can get the waiting list down a bit, people will come back to us. And I also think that the anger in society isn't just driven by economics. It's driven by social media algorithms. It's driven by ideology. It's driven by huge issues with like widespread public services. Like this idea that it's going to gradually erode away because you are in the background fixing the economy. It's just, we need like proper leaders right now. People who are going to grab the fucking electorate by the scruff of the neck and say, this is where we're going to go and I'm going to take you there. It just feels like... Also, he didn't mention West Streeting, which is quite funny.
Yeah. We are a populist electorate at the moment. Do you know what I mean? That's what we vote for, personalities. We vote for like robust personalities, strength. And I think that's why Rhena Piodweth did so well, the Rhena corner, apologies. That people want a big character who they feel secure and confident in. And I understand this mature politics going, we're going to beaver away in the background and just get stuff done and do it well. But you need to communicate that with the public. We need to trust you to do it. It feels a little bit as well. Like, do you remember when Elena Morgan was on the podcast and she was like, AI, guys, it's the future. It's coming. It feels a little bit like that. Yeah. They're going, growth. Do you know what I mean? We're just going to grow the economy, guys. Yeah, we're just going to grow the economy.
If only we could just have slightly fewer people on waiting lists. People go, oh, Labour are all right.
Yeah.
Like,
but they have no control of that now.
No, they don't. They did, and now they don't.
Yeah.
But to sort of, and also in 4 years, we don't know what the picture's going to be like. So I think this is almost an impossible task for him. But this is the easy bit in opposition, where you can say this is the journey. You don't have to fucking do anything.
Yeah.
Like we're going to take you on this journey. Let's make some bold claims. Let's say this is where we're going to plant our flag and move that way. If you're going to do economy, then big up. Like M&S this week announced all those like jobs for young people and stuff. Why aren't Welsh business? Why aren't the government trying to get Admiral to do something like that in Wales and going all around Wales and going, well, actually, we're going to help this lost generation?
I think this is why I think it's so important that Welsh Labour take time and have a really tough conversation with themselves and really understand what just happened to them and what they want to do next. Because at the moment, if Ken Skates just becomes leader by default because no one challenges him and basically UK Labour like him, then he has no deeper mandate for what... If they are going to bring this back, they're going to need to be really bold. They're going to need to come up with stuff which is different, which is like a bit like, oh, that's a bit outside the box. They're going to have to... and if they can't do that, if it's just a few of them in a focus group, they need to bring their organisation together and have everyone feel like they've had a stake in deciding the future of it, not just, okay, he's the most experienced person in a diminished rump of a group.
Yeah, the advantage Welsh Labour have is they've formed governments. They've got that experience. They know how that works. They know how to form a government. Plaid Cymru do not at the moment. So the biggest thing he can do is use that to be an absolute thorn in the Rhena side and pull Plaid up on all their shortfalls and all their failings. And I think that's...
We need him to, don't we?
Yeah, 100%. It's like you say, Robin, we need an effective opposition. And I think that is the only thing he could effectively do is call out Plaid continuously where it's necessary for people to take notice of Welsh Labour again.
I think he can also do one thing, which is get TikTok. And I imagine his team have probably suggested him doing it. I'm Just Ken style video. 100% that's been pitched to him.
If it's not, what a loss.
What a loss.
I finish on something a little bit fun.
Go on.
Do you know where in the world you and I were on TV this weekend?
I know we were on BBC One Wales on Saturday.
But where was that being shown?
I don't know.
Albania. Yes.
Back in the day, it was on in Albania.
In Albania. Yeah.
Why?
Was football on or something?
So Wales had just lost to Romania in a friendly.
Right,
And,
okay.
and I think they repeated an episode of Back in the Day straight after that. So I had a lot of people
Yes.
going blah, blah, blah.
Well, there were quite a few of Wales away fans
Right.
who were in Albania who were sending it to me, screenshots
so
of
funny.
us on TV
Big in
from their
Albania.
hotel. Yeah, so there we go. We're international, guys. International.
We should do a live pod in Albania.
We
That's the next thing we
should.
should do. Daryl, pack a bag. We're going.
Watch out for Lord Voldemort. That's where he ran away.
Sure, he did, yeah.
Sorry.
I don't want Harry Potter.
Red Harry Potter.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
The film's a shit. Right, that's all for this week. Thank you very much, guys. Enjoyed that immensely. My name's Will Hayward.
My name is Robin Morgan.
My name's Mel Owen. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ta-da.